I'm an actor and presenter. I'm an actress on a SABC1 soapie called Skeem Saams and a presenter on My Baby Bump as well on One Gospel. I'm a vlogger. I've got a YouTube channel with my sister, Innocent Magic. Basically, I'm a busy woman. We wanted something that's unique. We wanted something that's different. We wanted something that has not been done before. As we in the television industry, that means you're exposed to everyone. And everyone feels like they know you because they see you on TV, but they actually don't know you. I think nobody actually tells you, like, before you get on television or you want to do this industry, enjoy your privacy because you're never, ever going to have it again.
Hello, Africa. You're listening to 1000 African Voices. I'm your host, Aburengwi C, coming to you from our Johannesburg studios. 1000 African Voices is a program that profiles Africans of diverse cultures who have traveled and lived across the African continent and the world. In this series, we will collect and share stories from all parts of Africa. Welcome.
1000 African Voices.
Hello, African. Welcome to another episode of 1000 African Voices. Today we're joined by Innocent Sadiki, who will shortly introduce herself to the listeners of 1000 African Voices. Hi, Innocent.
Hi everyone, 1000 Africa Voices. I am so pleased to be joining you tonight. I'm very, very excited.
No, welcome. You're probably the 80th voice that we're talking to in over a 2-year period. So it's always exciting to get a totally new voice with a different perspective. But perhaps to give our listeners a sense of who you are, can you just do a quick introduction of who you are? Like, how do you normally describe yourself?
Myself. Okay, so my name is Innocent Sadiki. I actually have 3 names, but I use Innocent. My other name is Tabang, the other one is Esneth, and I am married. I'm 31 years of age. I'm married to Pindulo Sadiki. I've got 2 beautiful daughters, Emma and Ntombana. I'm an actor and presenter. I'm an actress on a SABC1 soapie called Skeem Saams and a presenter on My Baby Bump as well on One Gospel. And yeah, I'm a vlogger. I've got a YouTube channel with my sister, Innocent Magic. So basically, I'm I'm a busy woman.
Hey, listen, maybe let's talk a bit about the show My Baby Bump. So as you were saying that, yes. First I typed your name and what came up were pictures of yourself, but the pictures that pop up, I think, show you in a pregnant state. So when you mention My Baby Bump, what is that show about, just so that our listeners can get a good sense of that?
So My Baby Bump is an online show that I produced alongside my sister, Innocent Magic. When I was pregnant, I found that a lot of the information that I find online, it's mostly, international people who are vlogging or blogging, and it was nothing that I could relate to as an African woman. And so we decided, let's just have like an online show, because we've got an online channel called St. Twins, and then produce a show that people can easily relate to and talk to day-to-day moms. So basically the show is a pregnant woman interviewing another pregnant woman. So, I mean, with just that, there's just so much to relate to. There's just so much things that you can talk about in terms of conversation, because when you're not pregnant, you don't really understand. But now when you have a presenter who's pregnant, who completely understands what they're feeling, the conversations becomes even more deeper and more meaningful. And so that's how the show came about when I was pregnant. And so, of course, now we're on a season break until I'm pregnant again, which is not or my twin sister gets pregnant. Alternatively, we're going to have to try and source for a pregnant presenter, and then maybe we can work on a season 3 for the show.
Why is that a prerequisite? Why do you need to be pregnant to host the show?
I mean, because for us, we wanted something that's unique. We wanted something that's different. We wanted something that has not been done before, because we do believe in breaking barriers and doing things that are innovative, and so that was one of the ways. And also, I mean, being pregnant, the dynamics are just so different, from you being like normal. And we just felt that it would be so nice to speak to someone who can fill your shoes, who understands what you're feeling. And like, they expect you to be in an interview, and then you're tired, and maybe you're grumpy, and then maybe your baby's busy kicking you as they're talking, and you feel like the presenter won't understand. But in this case, you just feel so comfortable, and instead of just the presenter ad-lipping or just speaking the script, they're speaking real life experiences based on what they are feeling at the current moment. It's not about what the book says, it's not about what Google says, it's not about what the doctor says, but it's about what you're feeling as a mom, So we just wanted that core essence and the truths, what moms say when you are in that situation.
Okay. No, it makes sense. But as you're talking, I was thinking, if this show is very successful and you remain the host and you maybe go for 12 seasons, it's a lot of pregnancies.
Yeah, to be honest with you, we didn't think that far of it, but I guess the pregnancy brain at the time, but we didn't really think that far along, with the show concept, because when we were actually, the funny thing is that when we were trying to shoot for season 3 and I was not pregnant anymore, that's when sponsors came on board. And when they came on board, because we were shooting the show ourselves, and then I was like, no, I'm not pregnant anymore. And they're like, no, we want you to be pregnant. And we're like, no, we'll do auditions and we'll look for a pregnant presenter. And they were like, no, we want you to present the show. And yeah, that was like a big problem because I was not pregnant anymore. I had given birth already. So we unfortunately could not have a season 3 because of that. So you mentioned a very important point in terms of the success of the show. I do believe the show could have gone far, but unfortunately, they loved the concept. They loved how we had structured it. But yeah, I mean, God made sure that my baby has a safe delivery and I don't have to be pregnant forever. So unfortunately, that's just the downside of it. Yeah.
All right. Innocent, as I'm talking to you, I'm looking at the cover. I assume it's a cover of your YouTube channel. You mentioned that you have a twin sister.
Correct.
And as I'm looking at the picture, I'm not certain who of the two is you. How do you deal with that?
Shoot, I tell you now, we receive a lot of questions about how people see the difference between us. We actually did like a vlog, I think about 2 weeks back, if not 3 weeks back, about how people can see the difference, because it's a question we get most of the time. We actually quite different. Millicent's got lots of scars on her face. I've got more of a cleaner face. And then I think she's got like cute little cheeks that I don't have. And my face is more oval and her face is more round. I mean, I think if you know one of us really well, you will easily spot the difference between us.
Yeah, as I'm sure you can, but I'm really having a difficult time sort of separating the oval from maybe the 5% more rounded face. It's really picking at nits. Your attraction to the media space. So you spoke earlier about Skeem Saams. We've now talked about the YouTube channel that you have. What draws you to that world, the entertainment / media world?
I've always had the love in the industry for as far as I could remember, being a little girl, being raised by my grandparents in Mamelodi. And all we could ever do with my sister was to record ourselves on the radio. And at the time, I remember there was a record button that said red and another button. You had to press two buttons to record it. We'd record ourselves. We'd come up with all these show concept, twins and this and that. We had all the names in the world. We'd record ourselves. And then after that, we'd sit in front of the mirror and imitate presenters and present our own shows in the mirror and compete with each other who's the best presenter, for a particular show. And so those are just the dreams that I've always had. I don't remember having a different dream but to be in the entertainment industry or seeing myself being as an actor or a presenter or a producer or even a director. And so it was up to us to make sure that these dreams are valid, because growing up for us, it was not a career to be an actor. It was not a career to be a presenter, to be on radio or television. It was just like, it's a hobby, But we soon realized as we grew that no, this can actually be a career. It's not an easy industry to crack into, but once you're there, things become a bit easier. I mean, of course, it's a lot of work, but once you've made the correct connections, once you've attended enough auditions, you know that enough directors and producers know you and they know your work and they know that you respect your craft and they take you seriously if you take yourself seriously. And eventually things just worked out the way God wanted it to work out, So yeah, I mean, I worked for an advertising agency because I studied advertising management and then I did my diploma in that. I then went on to do my degree and then I did my honors. And then currently I'm doing my master's, but now with my master's, I'm doing it within the television industry, not within the advertising, although advertising is still television related, but it's more behind the scenes, creating commercials and then producing them and so forth. So I wanted something that's now directly within my field of work. And that's what I'm doing.
And so far, Innocent, what would you say has been the most meaningful break you've had? Like, what's been your big break so far?
Well, undoubtedly, it has to be Skeem Saams because it's a daytime soapie with over 8 million viewers, around
Wow.
6 million, 7 million, 8 million, I'm not sure, but around those numbers. And so, I mean, I don't think I've ever been exposed to such a large number of an audience. And of course, being on a soapie, it's something that's more frequent, something that people see more. So people will recognize you better and know you. And I mean, of course, it's our African people that watch it. It's a petty-based soapie. And so you can imagine for us, Mina, I'm a Black female. So I'm an African. A lot of people who are African who watch this soapie will recognize you and will know you and will love you and will relate to you because we don't speak in English, we speak in Sepedi. And I just love that because I've always believed in embracing who I am. I encourage my daughters to learn and know their language. I speak to them in Venda because I'm like, you girls need to be proud of who you are. You need to know who you are. You need to know your history. You need to know your background. You need to be rooted in it, And so for me, had I not known my language, I wouldn't be on the soapie, number one, because I would just be like a model girl who doesn't know an African language. I would not even work in the industry because what the industry has done is that it's opened doors to people who speak their native language. You have your Zulus, your Bedis, your Xhosas, your Venda soapies, and that's fantastic. I can't even imagine how I would even have a job had I not known how to speak my language or any other South African languages that are required in the briefs from directors and producers. So indeed, our country has evolved, especially within the entertainment industry.
Yeah, and perhaps maybe for our listeners that are outside or don't have access to Skeem Saams, can you maybe just explain the concept as well as your role within Skeem Saams? So what character do you play and what is the show, the soapie about?
So Skeem Saams is actually how can I say it, like a slang word or like a more informal word to say my friend, Skeem Saams. And so that's what the name of the soapie is. And the story, or the synopsis of the story, is based on three boys. So in the beginning, it was like Connect Mama Bola, it was Clement Maosa, and then why am I forgetting the other one? But it's based on three boys who basically grew up from school, and they grow up and now they're working and they've established themselves in terms of careers. So basically it encourages young people, and you see the journey of young boys from when they were young to going to school, to going to tertiary, and then to the working phase. And now there's another three boys that have come up, which is one of the boys is my son in the story. So these are the next three boys that are coming up within the story. So it's Clement, who's my son. He plays the character Clement. And then there's Koloi, and who's the friend to my son. And then there's Noah, who's a friend to my son as well. So these three boys, I'm sure they're going to now they're in high school, and then we're going to see them go to tertiary, and we're going to see them go and work. So it's basically based on three boys and their journey, and all of us, we're basically supporting them. So I'm the mother to one of the boys whose name is Clement, who's a teenager now. I was married to Clement's father, and his character name is Dennis in the story. And but currently we're going through a divorce in the story because he was physically and emotionally abusive. And I just got to a point where I've just had enough of the abuse. I've just had enough of the up and down and manipulation, etc., that I just decided I'm going to change my life and I'm going to walk away from the marriage, even though I got married at a very young age. But I'm going to use my education and actually try and find a job and start my life all over again. So that's basically my character, and my character name is Sthoko.
Sthoko.
Yes, Sthoko. Sthoko.
Sthoko. So does it ever get to a point where you become one with the script? And by that I mean where the lines that you're reading start impacting Innocent Sadiki at a deeper level. So if I'm reading a book, I get to a point where it starts affecting me, whether positively or negatively. I'm wondering, as an actress, if you are touched or influenced personally by some of the scripts that you come across.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, in order for you to completely reflect on someone else's character and their persona and their emotions, you have to be empathetic towards the character. So in order for me to step into Sthoko, I need to emotionally connect to who she is, what she's gone through. It's just like a complex way of connecting to the character, but it does affect you. Sometimes you literally have to tap out of the character, when you walk off set. That's the right thing to do. But I mean, it's not always easy, especially when you have an emotional character. Because for me, when I started acting with Togo, she was still going through the abuse, so she would cry a lot. She'd go through a lot of stress, turmoil, depression, being hospitalized, while she was being physically abused. And there was no way I was going to be authentic to the character and be able to portray her, in her true essence, and show who she really is without having stepped into her shoes in a way, or without the character having impacted me in a way. So it's, at that moment, you become the character, you become sympathetic towards the character. It's a hard one, but I always find myself asking myself, like, okay, who am I now? Am I innocent or am I Sthoko? Like, I need to tap out of this character already, I shouldn't be sad. There's nothing to be sad about. I was just acting. So sometimes it's a bit difficult, but it's something, as a professional actor, you should be able to tap in and out of it. But it's not always as easy as that, because we too are emotional beings, you know what I mean? And you end up believing the story so much, which is the right thing to do, but you end up believing it so much that you have to remind yourself to come out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I ask is there are many psychologists who believe that the body has such a big influence on your state of being. So if you've come out of a shoot where you needed to be angry, it then becomes very difficult for you to break out of that state.
Oh, yeah.
And I would imagine that if you're acting in a role that requires it to be powerful, then even when you go home, you remain in such a state. But I thought I'll ask someone who is in that world just to get your perspective.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's yeah. Oh, definitely.
All right. I'm wondering, Innocent, now my mind is going into sort of the next 5, 10 years. So you and Skeem Saams now, you've launched a YouTube channel amongst other things that you do. What
Yeah.
is the medium term goal? Where do you want to go with the Innocent Sadiki brand?
So I want to continue acting, but I want to create opportunities for people. Our industry is very small, and our industry doesn't necessarily have so many opportunities for all of us, because there's a lot of aspiring actors, there's a lot of aspiring artists who are out there who just want to work. I mean, can you imagine if, let's say, Skeem Saam has like 20 actors and we all stay there for the next 10 years? That means there's no opportunity for people for the past 10 years who've been studying acting, or who are trained actors, not even trained, or maybe just talented people who want to be on the soapie. There's no opportunities for them. So there's a huge gap for producers and directors to conceptualize, to write new things, to write new material, create opportunities, especially the ones who are exposed to the entertainment industry, who have the right connections, who've got the resources, who got the ability to produce new content. We don't only have SABC 1, 2, and 3 anymore. We've got DSTV, we've got Netflix, we've got the digital space. There's just so much that we can do, and I feel like it's my responsibility to sort of broaden up the industry, open up the industry even more, and create opportunities. That's the kind of brand I want for myself. I want to be a prominent director and producer. I want to be able to give people a chance and an opportunity to find new and fresh talent and work on it. I remember when I started in the industry, actually, me and my sister started producing theater productions and theater plays before we got into television. But we got so busy on television that we forgot all about theater. But what theater allowed us to do was to get new faces and to write a lot. It's just like a beautiful medium on its own, and we really, really want to go back to theater this year and do theater plays, go into the township, take auditions, find talent there, and go and showcase it on big stages and big platforms, and see where we can take it. And another thing for me, I'm also in ministry. I'm a Christian. My husband is a pastor, but I'm a preacher as well. But I don't identify myself as a pastor, but I do identify myself as a child of God, just working for the ministry. And I'm really, really working on growing that brand. In fact, God, I think, is more at work, more than I'm putting in the work. He's just opening doors for me with ministry in a way that I could have never even imagined. What's funny is that I've actually been in ministry since I was 19 years. I've been preaching since I was 19. I'm 31 now, and in 6 months I'll be 32. But I've never really taken it as seriously as I am now, And I find that the more faithful I am in ministry, the more God opens doors for me in every part of my work. And now I'm doing it all. I've always asked myself, how am I going to do ministry and be in the television industry? Because these two things are seen as opposites, but I'm doing it. And I guess God is also trying to educate people to show that it's possible, and it's working perfectly for me. So I see myself, as a well-known preacher, young female preacher, dynamic, powerful, I must say, preaching the word of God out there, and still being in the entertainment industry, being God-fearing and being confident, being proud, and being myself. So that's the person that I want to be. And that is what makes me happy. And in the next 5 years, I want all of that to be, stronger and more stable and more significant. Yeah.
I really like that, ending more significant. And as you were talking, I was thinking about goal setting, that it is believed that those that are driven by setting goals and achieving those goals are more likely to succeed than those who do not. And it sounds like a very obvious thing, but when you start thinking about it and you ask yourself whether you set not only realistic goals, but goals that will allow you to be so driven that when you look at yourself a year from now, you'll be in a much better place than before you set those goals. So yeah, as you were talking, I was just thinking about the power of goal setting.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm curious about your sister. Does she share the same background as you within the acting space? Do you have a similar background?
Yes, we do have a similar background. She studied television and film. She's got a degree from AFDA as well, AFDA, the School of Television. And we've acted in a few films together. She does more films. She also does a lot of producing. She's also been on radio. So yeah, she's within the entertainment industry, but currently she's also ventured into photography. So she does photography as well. And yeah, so basically we share the same interest, I guess, in that sense. And we've always had, I mean, but I think we both know what our strengths are and what our weaknesses are, and we try and maximize on that, and we try and be the best at what we're good at. And she's also a presenter now on One Gospel. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we're both in the same industry and it just works out so well for us. It's actually fantastic. We enjoy it. We relate in so many levels and we share insights, we share knowledge, we share just wisdom on how to grow our brands, how to go about it, how we can improve, etc. So
Okay. I would imagine that your fans watch you as Sthoko on Skeem
yeah,
Saams, but what they see is more the celebrity side of you.
yes,
Away from the camera, so away from Skeem Saams,
yes.
what would you say are some of the challenges that someone in your industry deals with,
Mhm.
and perhaps you specifically, what have you found to be some of the challenges that you are faced with, and I suppose on the upside, some of the benefits that maybe people are not aware of, but are more interested in understanding the challenges because it allows an aspiring young actress to get
Yeah.
a balanced view of the world of acting.
I think the challenge is that with everyone, they have their different professions that they've chosen, either being a doctor or a nurse or a psychologist or whatever the case, or a driver. With us, we in the television industry, that means you're exposed to everyone, and everyone feels like they know you because they see you on TV, but they actually don't know you. And you don't have what we call privacy. I think nobody actually tells you, like, before you get on television or you want to do this industry, enjoy your privacy because you're never ever going to have it again. There's no such thing as going to a mall and going to whatever retailer and just buying something and walking out. People want to talk to you, people want to take pictures with you, people want to engage with you, people want to ask you questions. And so for me, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a challenge. I would say that, being in our industry, you need to love people. The only thing is that sometimes people don't understand. Ne? So it's actually funny. It's not really a disadvantage, but you'd be having dinner with your family. People want to take pictures and you don't want to turn them down because they're so excited to see you. You know what I mean? Like for me, I just had a small baby and I'd be with the small baby. I'm trying to do my thing. I'm just like, okay, if I take pictures with you, where am I gonna put this child that I'm carrying? So it's just those small dynamics really are really a challenge. You have to choose well the places that you go to because some people love your character and some people don't. People believe everything that they see on television. If you play a character that people don't like or you're a thief in the story, people are going to see you as that. For me, I was a victim of abuse, and a lot of moms or women who can relate to me sometimes would just come and just like cry, and they forget that I was acting that way. To them is you've been through an abusive marriage like me. We're going through a divorce and you have to try and relate to that. I think that's the unfortunate part because when at that time you're not told anymore, you're innocent. Your work follows you. That's what I can tell you. Your work follows you. It's with you all the time. You are the character. You live the character. People don't know who Innocent is. They know who Sthoko is, and they relate to Sthoko. And sometimes you have to cry with them, and sometimes you have to laugh with them, and sometimes you just have to give them, attention
Yeah.
and hear what they've been through. And also, it's a lot of work, learning scripts, understanding dialogue, working with other actors. Sometimes the hours are long. So if you want to get in this industry, you have to be very serious about it, and you have to really know that this is what you want to do. You have to be invested 101%. You have to be focused, you have to be driven, and you have to love it. You have to love it. Otherwise you're going to be frustrated. So for me, I don't really have serious issues, but those I think are what I can highlight on from the top of my head.
Yeah, suppose for those that are not in the public domain, the one thing we don't value is probably privacy, sort of your own time, the ability to go to a shop, get oats and milk and go back home without someone bothering you or asking you for a picture. I would imagine that if I had to go through that every single day, there'll come a time when my level of frustration will exceed the level of patience that I have. But it sounds like for you, because it's the space that you wanted to be in for so long, it sounds like you were prepared enough that you are able to deal with that sort of part of the job in a way.
Yeah, I don't think you can fully be prepared. You think, okay, at first you enjoy the attention, right? And then as you have the attention, you realize it's not all glamorous. Because remember, you can't judge people, but people have different personalities. Some will be respectful, some won't. Some will ask, some won't ask. Some will be rude, some will be nice. Some will criticize and some will compliment. I think that's what the challenge is, because people feel like just because you are on television, they can say whatever they say to you because they feel like maybe they own you or what, I don't know. And that's something that I have picked up, maybe, just being with other actors and sometimes how they will refer to you, they sort of attach everything that's around your character with you. And they want you to be that person that you are on television. If you're not that person, they feel like you're being rude. And you're thinking, oh, well, I left my character in studio. This is who I am.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is what I'm saying. You can never be fully prepared. All you have to do is to just love people. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. I've seen a lot of miserable actors who don't like people. They don't like taking pictures. And I've seen how that is not also good for our industry, because a lot of people will say, oh, wow, you're so friendly. Oh, wow, I didn't know people in this industry are so friendly. I didn't know you take pictures, because some just don't take pictures. And you have to respect that, because we're not all going to have the same beliefs. Just because they're on television, they didn't sign a contract. They're not obligated to take pictures, I personally don't mind, because when I was a little girl, I think I would have loved to meet someone who's on television and probably have a picture with them. So I don't mind. For me, it's just like, okay, they see me on TV. Some of them never saw a celebrity in their life and they're loyal. I have no problem at all. I'm happy to make someone else smile and to give them a hope, and laughter and pride to say, here's a sister who's making it. I can also do it. It's possible. If we can walk in this mall together and you could follow your dreams, I can too. So it's about impact.
As we're about to wrap up, Innocent, those who want to follow you, those who don't have, suppose the luxury of bumping into you wherever you stay, how can people still reach out to you, be it on YouTube or Twitter or whatever social spaces you are available? How can we connect with Innocent Sadiki?
Okay, so I'm on Instagram, Twitter, as well as Facebook and YouTube. But on Instagram, it's Innocent Sadiki. So it's INNOSADIKI. So it's Innocent Sadiki on Twitter as well as Instagram. And then on Facebook, I've got a page called Innocent Sadiki. And then on YouTube, it's Saint Twins TV. That's where I am. Saint Twins, that's CENT and then TWINZ TV.
Okay.
Saint Twins TV.
Saint Twins TV. We would like to encourage our listeners to go on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you can find Innocent and support her work. I'm actually now quite curious to see these characters talk, so I'll be sure to find an episode so that I can also become familiar with the phenomenon that is Sthoko, played by Innocent Sadiki. So from the team on 1000 African Voices, Innocent, thank you for making the time to share your experiences, your wisdom, and some of the advice that you have for especially the young, aspiring actors and actresses. I would like to thank you for coming onto the show and giving us the time as you have done. So thank you.
Thank you so much for the great interview. God bless you guys.
Take care. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.
1000 African Voices.
You've been listening to 1000 African Voices. Please join us next time as we bring you yet another African voice. 1000 African Voices is produced by Aburengwi C. Sam Ganich is our sound engineer, with our head researcher Jones Maleka. The intro soundtrack for the show is by the legendary Salif Gator from his 1995 album Forlorn. The song you're listening to right now is by Chronix, and the title of the song is Legend. For more information, including the contact details of our guests, please visit us on our website www.1000africanvoices.com. You can also subscribe to our show on iTunes by searching for 1000 African Voices. We are also available on Stitcher. You can find us as well on Podbean. The only thing we ask of you is that you subscribe to our show by logging on to 1000africanvoices.com and click the subscribe button. That helps us grow. It helps us keep producing and bringing to you more African voices. Until next time, Kungana Africa, and take care.
Being an ordinary person doing what's right. Yesterday at the football game, a little girl asked me my name. She said, "Sir, I've seen you before, tell me who are you?" I said, "I am a legend that you never heard of before." I said, "I am a lion, but you never heard me roar. I am a hero that nobody celebrates. But if one person remembers my name, that means on the ocean of fame I'm an unknown sailor. I'm the percussionist playing with the whalers, the one with the shaker, the mover and shaker. My name wasn't on the front of the paper, but me not cater. Much more than the work is greater. Creation glorifies creator. So all deeds done are in the name of my maker. I am a legend that you probably never hear about. Words from the lion's mouth. I am a hero that nobody celebrates. But if one person remembers my name, give praise, that means I made a change. Story of my life, ordinary person just like you. If you take a look inside, you see the great things that people do. We're out here changing lives day and night, day in, day out. BBC don't show it, CNN don't show it,